Ladies and gentlemen, very good news. I want to read you a statement from Mike Johnson, Congressman Mike Johnson of Louisiana, the new Speaker of the House in terms of being nominated. So he was nominated Speaker of the House. So it was between Byron Donalds and Mike Johnson. So he has been nominated, Mike Johnson. He's a Trump ally, part of Trump's inner circle, and I think a very, very good choice. Much better than McCarthy. I really liked Byron Donalds, but this person is pretty good. I want to read you, quote, based on the overwhelming facts uncovered by the House committee. This is his statement on the impeachment of mashed potato brains, our president. Quote, based upon the overwhelming facts uncovered by our House committees through our congressional oversight responsibility, I fully support the impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Now, this is Mike Johnson, very likely the new Speaker of the House, nominated. So he's nominated, and a formal vote, I believe, today or tomorrow. But this inquiry will allow us to unearth documents and records that the administration has previously shielded and offer us a larger platform to deliver those facts directly to the American people, barring any declarations of impeachment is the most awesome power Congress holds, and we will undertake this great responsibility with a strict fidelity to the truth. It is time to get to work. It's pretty obvious. You'd have to be a complete imbecile to believe that hundreds of millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands in many cases, tens of millions, went through shell corporations into the bank accounts associated with Hunter and Joe and everyone around them. And that not having been a graft or bribery schemes. You'd have to be pretty naive to think that people are paying Hunter because of his expertise. There was no expertise that he had, for example, in terms of oil and gas. So the Daily Mail and the New York Post especially uncovered emails on Hunter's laptop that were genuine, that the entire American political establishment tried to sweep under the rug going on 4 years ago. 50 intelligence officials lied through their teeth. And so you had obvious graft and bribery schemes. Obvious. People are giving money to these Democrats for them to get influence, access to the U.S. government. They're being paid off. And it's pretty obvious. You can look at the New York Post reporting. You could look at the Daily Mail. And you can look at the fact that 50 intelligence officials lied, saying that it was a plot by the Kremlin. Why is it always a plot by the Kremlin to inform you of how corrupt Democrats are? So obviously, Joe and Hunter and others around them are selling access to the U.S. government. It's within the emails. So when AOC accused Byron Donalds of fabricating an email, nothing could be further from the truth. When AOC says something, oftentimes the opposite is true. The text message that Byron Donalds showed Congress was literally a text message of one of Biden's inner circle scheming and talking about how best to conduct the graft and bribery scheme. And then they say, well, it's missing context. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. To read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. To my Patreon, thank you. To the super thanks, thank you. Impeachment is going to take place. Not only will impeachment take place, ladies and gentlemen, but you have impeachment for actual felonies, not impeachment because Trump spoke to a leader of a country that was invaded while Biden was in office. Notice that all of these terrible foreign policy catastrophes are taking place while Biden is in office. But here, New York Times, GOP nominates Mike Johnson for House Speaker. Mike Johnson picked as new GOP Speaker nominee. He's actually a very, very good pick. He's a very good pick because not only is he a Trump Republican against never-ending military conflict, the reason to vote for Trump is you're against the most important reason in my book is foreign policy. You can see what's taking place in terms of foreign policy now. Okay, none of these things took place with Trump in office. You didn't have the chaos and mayhem. We weren't close to nuclear confrontation. We are 90 seconds to midnight, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. That is closer to nuclear annihilation than ever before. That's directly because of Biden's foreign policy. You don't fund never-ending military conflict and call it democracy or funding democracy. You're funding never-ending military conflict that has nothing to do with democracy. But here, Louisiana's Mike Johnson, candidate for Speaker, was trusted member of Trump's inner circle. Very good, very important. Most of the things that Trump is accused of, whether he's convicted or not, is irrelevant. It'll be overturned by the Supreme Court. He regains the Oval Office. All of those, the special counsel, any conviction or any investigation, for example, the classified data nonsense. He was a president with the power to declassify. All of the absurd, fabricated, you want to talk about fabricated accusations that he gave people, classified information. As president, you can declassify anything, and you can speak about classified data during negotiations, even with adversaries. That's according to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court rulings backing or upholding the power of a president. How do you think President Obama or Jimmy Carter or Donald Trump or any president is able to speak, or Ronald Reagan is able to speak to adversaries? Okay. When Ronald Reagan, was negotiating all the different treaties, he was almost certainly divulging, just by talking about certain subject matters, classified data. As a president, you can go ahead and do that. Okay? That's different from private servers with top secret intel on them. Okay, so it's interesting. They accuse Trump of everything they're guilty of and ignore the rampant criminality. It is a crime to own servers with classified data. It is impossible to transfer the classified data onto those servers without breaking laws. But Clinton was able to do that. By the way, I think Hillary will be the 24 nominee for the Democratic Party. I don't see mashed potato brains, I don't see them going with mashed potato brains. But anyway, you have a situation where they're accusing Trump. That's their best offense, because they actually did commit crimes, graft, bribery with Hunter and Joe, classified data breaches with Hillary Clinton. Then they accuse Trump of trying to overturn results or not accept results. They haven't even come to terms ever with 2016. Okay? So you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where they have never accepted Trump defeating Clinton, and then they accuse Trump of not accepting results. But here, Congressman Mike Johnson talks his role on President Trump's impeachment team. So he was defending Trump during the really lame impeachment trials where they accused him, like, for example, January, he didn't tell anyone to commit crimes. That, never happened. He never told anyone to commit a crime. But they accuse him of the criminal activity, even though that entire summer you had $1 to $2 billion in property damage, with Democrats giving tacit approval. And some Democrats saying get in people's faces prior to that. But here you had a situation where Trump not only was accused of things he didn't do, okay, but you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where I think this new Speaker of the House, if he eventually becomes Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson will be a very, very good ally of Trump, which is good for the country. Okay, 73 million Americans voted for Trump for a reason. Okay, they voted for Trump for a reason because we had record low poverty with Trump and record highs in household median income. So then that's a fact. And that's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe to this channel, right? And we didn't have the catastrophe in terms of foreign policy. This new Speaker of the House will be a lot better than McCarthy. Give me your thoughts. Thank you.